One of the many things Devil May Cry is known for are the different devil arms Dante has gotten throughout his demon hunting career, ranging from swords, nunchucks, all the way to electric guitars and motorbike saws. But one thing that remains consistent are them punch-kick gauntlets and greaves. Hello, it's the Devil Joe, back again with a brand new video, and today I'm gonna find out which Devil May Cry game has the best gauntlets. This video idea has been suggested to me twice by Storm Approaching, and I've had it in mind for some time, so why not take a look at them? Before we start this video, I won't be including Beowulf. Whoa, hold it! It's in 3 other Devil May Cries! I'll be making a video exclusive to all of its other variations. Punch-kick weapons are in almost every single DMC game. One of these bad boys are bound to be there in some way, shape, or form. As per usual, I'll be putting them into the following categories. Design, which one looked the best? Damage, which gauntlet packed the most punch? Literally. Crowd control, which one was the best at dealing with large hordes? Sound effects, which gauntlet sounded the best? Speed, which gauntlet was the fastest one? Moveset, which of them had the sickest looking moves? As per usual, I'll have a top 3 at the end of this video to crown the Intercontinental Gauntlet Championship title. Without further ado, let's jump into this crazy ranking. First up, we got Ifrit from good old DMC1. Them dragon heads with fists coming out of them. If I'm being honest, them fiery boxing gloves look pretty off. They were going for a design like Alistair, where the blade is going through the dragon head. But the handpieces, well, it looks like some dude was fisting a demon a bit too hard. As for greaves, there aren't any, despite kicking being a huge part of the moveset. So yeah, it looks good, but a little bit too off in my opinion. Damage-wise, this thing packs one hell of a punch, in and out of DT. Once you take your time charging it, then you'll be expected to melt most of them down in a heartbeat. Activate that devil trigger, you have Kick 13. A move used to deliver the most unforgettable divine beatdowns that most demons experience till they burn to a crisp, making them nothing but ashes, not leaving any traces behind. Inferno is a move that gets you to rain death from above, deleting a few enemies in the process. To get the most out of Ifrit, you gotta get used to charging it up, not giving you much leeway for quick attacks except for Kick 13. Your pause combos move at a slower pace than Alistair. You gotta be aware of your own positioning while using it. Sound design for the fisted dragon heads are impeccable to say the least. You can hear fires brewing from the steel gauntlet, packing a solid crunch once you land your blows. Most of the moves have one thing in common, and that's the pursuit of dealing the most damage possible. Pause combos always have a charge up ending. The more you hold, the more pain you'll inflict. So in short, Ifrit is fun to use, but you gotta know a thing or two about positioning. But most players would park it aside in favor of Alistair. Next, we got the Gilgamesh from Devil May Cry 4. A kick-ass pair of gauntlets and greaves looking way more demonic than usual. The hand gauntlets have a pretty distinct pattern going through the whole thing. The greaves got some rotating spike wheel on it. As for how they work, it has the same philosophy as Ifrit, a priority on charge attacks. With a catch, you can use it well enough without the need to hold the triangle button just because of how snappy these fisticuffs can get. An attribute carried over from Beowulf in DMC3. I'll be making that into its own video. You got your AB pause combos ending in a charge. The longer you hold the attack button, the more damage you'll cause, draining their health till they're at an inch of their lives. There's a straight punch all about holding the triangle. The more you hold it down, the more the demons are gonna bleed out harder. Switch to Swordmaster, you got the shock. On the ground, it's a charge move that dishes out some decent punishment. Not to mention the Shoryuken Variety Hour. Beast uppercut needs no stop button to be held, to get a standard uppercut going, to launch a guy off the ground. Hold it down, Dante does a Ryu and goes for a real Shoryuken and flies after the poor son of a bitch, leaving a bigger boo-boo than the one he already had. Hold it down for a little longer, Dante can beast uppercut a 360 Shoryuken powerful enough to desecrate most devils. Let's not forget about the real fucking impact. No holding required. It just needs to land. Once it does, then boom! The seal of death to those unfortunate enough to get their souls punched out of their pitiful husks of a body. It's that one move that might as well act like the beat a game button, because of how powerful it is. So for damage, it's kind of a powerhouse. Unlike Ifrit, this gauntlet is as fast as Bruce Lee was. The AB combos can be pulled off without charging the final hit. To get these moves to come out faster, to chain into other moves. The mother of all speedy gauntlet moves, Kick 13 is here, the kick flurry that assaults anything in its path at light speeds. Dante shreds anything coming his way, making these boxing gloves real handy for chaining stylish combos together. The sound design team did one hell of a job on the SFX. A lot of the strikes sound very anime, and I'm loving it. When the gauntlets are striking without a charge, it sounds like rapid blows are being delivered in a blink of an eye. Kinda like Dragon Ball Z fights. Get them charged up, you'll most definitely get a feel of the faint brutality found in a critical hit of a Hajime no Ippo punch. The moves on offer are pretty flashy looking. They help out when it comes to crowd control. The Beast Uppercut and Rising Dragon can catch multiple people at once. Real impact plus the shock can take care of a demonic crowd. Kick 13 also helps with that. So in short, Gilgamesh improves quite a bit on a lot of the mechanics that DMC1 introduced with Ifrit. Even taking a few aspects of the Beowulf, I'm currently cooking that video up, and upgrading it. Enter Balrog from Devil May Cry 5, the fiery gauntlets that I mistook for Ifrit when I first saw them. Their design is one of the raddest ways to reference Devil May Cry 2 and 4 at the same time. Here's what I mean. The gauntlets have eyes on them, so do the shoulder pads on each side. Like Gilgamesh, they wind up making a face of a boss that was put on the cutting room floor, but was mentioned in Before the Nightmare. Yeah, that novel that not a lot of people read, where Dante caught up with Lucy and ended up fighting Balrog. Anyways, it looks real metallic on default. But if you ignite it, the greaves will light up in flame. The pads are, how should I put it, a tad bit horny. No, I don't mean it in that way! I was referring to the actual horns on it, showing what Balrog's head would have looked like if the boss fight was included in the game. Them greaves look like demonic cowboy boots. Not gonna lie, they look pretty sick on Dante. As for damage, the metallic fists will chip damage enemies at best. As you keep punching, it'll eventually light up, to turn into the striking inferno of doom! No need to strangle that poor triangle button using the Mike Tyson blow mode. Your attack button dishes out a flurry of rapid straight punches that melt away at an enemy's HP. Shattering guards away, no kidding, ignited Balrog straights can put most devils into their deathbed. There's also a hook stinger that turns out to a chin uppercut, raising them demons. Switch to Swordmaster, there's the legendary uppercut lineage, minimum dragon if you just want to lift them off the ground. Or you can Shoryuken off the ground to take down a decent chunk of their health away. This input is through mashing that stop button. Mash it harder than stroking that maxing out that bicep workout. You get Divine Dragon, the 360 Shoryuken! To missile launch yourself, spiraling into a flaming drill, obliterating the poor bastard unlucky enough to get hit by it. We still have the deadly body shot that if landed shall annihilate the damned soul out of the demon's pathetic husk of a body, due to that very real impact. Insta-killing a few adversaries, not forgetting the middle break, a push of the stall button, then you'll punch people out with tornadoes of fire, to add insult to injury. The fact that some of these moves are pretty fast to pull off is one hell of an improvement, removing the need to keep holding the triangle button. The bob and weave encourage you to dodge quickly while striking at a breakneck pace. You still gotta be strategic to pull off the mini Shoryukens, they still come out relatively quickly, while airborne Dante gets a left hook right hook. It ends by a downward punch, or you can jump cancel it to your heart's content. Switch over to the Eddie Gordo kick mode, the same deal applies. The kicks deal chip damage when it's not ignited. Light it up, you get triple the damage. On the combo A and B, Swordmaster is where it's at. Using Pyromania is that move that gets you to deal a ridiculous amount of damage to one enemy by wailing down on them, going through the most brutal ass taekwondo routine ever devised, leaving them devils into a steaming pile of ash. However, the highlight of the kick mode is the speed aspect of the whole thing. Combo A and B are made to beat on them demons in a fast-paced fashion. Dante does a backflip to launch most enemies off the ground in a relatively snappy manner that happens in a flash. It can be followed up by an updraft for more airtime or jump cancel it for more stall points. The wacky woohoo pizza man can breakdance on these clowns. That too comes out quickly. Then you get the quick dodge through the flint wheel, a move that's a dodge and a parry at the same time. Sound effects are rock solid. Every time a punch is thrown, all what you hear is the sound of steel beating on flesh and bone. On Angelo enemies, it's steel on steel clanging sounds. During each punch, you can hear the thing charging up. Once it's lit up, then you can hear the sound of fire roasting all of your adversaries, till they eventually suffer the worst kind of burn. Overall, Balrog is a solid gauntlet that comes with a variety of moves that deal a heavy dose of damage, while looking really flashy. The fact that punching and kicking are in two completely different modes is pure genius. Since it adds a ton of moves to your repertoire, you can creatively mix and match between the two. Time for the grand stand to crown an Intercontinental Gauntlet Champion! Let's unpack this top 3! In the number 3 spot is Ifrit from the OG Devil May Cry. Despite it being this low, I'm not saying Ifrit is a bad gauntlet. In fact, it's one hell of a powerhouse, dealing an insane amount of punishment to bosses and demons. But here's the catch, it ain't the most useful devil arm in most situations. I mean, in this game there are a ton of enemies and bosses that move ridiculously quickly, especially on Dante Must Die. You'll either switch over to Alistair, or you'll find ways to position yourself to get the charge attacks to land. The moveset here looks cool and is a foundation for all other DMC gauntlets moving forward, but compared to the other gauntlets that came afterwards, it's a bit bare bones and sluggish despite the power that it holds. In the number 2 spot, we got Gilgamesh from Devil May Cry 4. These gauntlets are a ton of fun to mess around with. Like Ifrit, it has charge attacks, but unlike Ifrit, this thing has speed. The combo A and B can come out as quickly as you want it to, or you can charge it to deal more damage. You're able to mix and match both of these to get more style points through the sickest looking moves on the 7th generation of consoles. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Intercontinental Gauntlet Championship title, Balrog from Devil May Cry 5! The reason why Balrog takes the title is because these gauntlets have everything they could possibly need. Boxing prowess that rivals Street Fighter's own Balrog, that's checked out. Eddie Gordo Tekken strats, you got those too. Both Blow and Kick mode have some of the raddest looking hand-to-hand moves, with some capoeira breakdancing mixed in, allowing you to pull off some really sick looking combos by switching back and forth between the two, while being a ridiculously powerful devil arm, doing a crazy amount of damage on multiple enemies without compromising speed. Since there aren't a ton of charge attacks, the uppercuts are the closest thing to charges. Those are mash commands now. They come out a lot faster. That's why the Balrog is the champion. Now that the Intercontinental Gauntlet Champion has been crowned, we come to the end of this video. What were your guys' thoughts on it? And which gauntlet did you think was more deserving of the championship title? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and smash that subscribe button, real impact style, while ringing that bell not to miss a new Devil May Cry and other action game videos from me. This has been the Devil Joe signing out. See you guys on that Beowulf ranking video.
Come on. Let's rock. Yes. Hot. Thank you.